Good day, everybody. My name is Lauri Tomunen. I'm a development engineer in YIT Finland, and today I will discuss about how to connect the production information with the product information, so how to connect the construction site with the designers. And in Finland, we basically use BIM in all of our projects, but there is still an issue that people on construction site are overwhelmed with all the information in the BIM model, and there is no clear processes how to use the information. So we need some kind of standardization in that point also. About YIT, we are the largest construction company in Finland, and we also operate here in Slovakia. From my point of view, the most interesting thing is the customer offering. So basically, we build everything, every kinds of buildings, infrastructure, business premises, and housing. And from production process planning side, it's like shooting a moving target, because the product is always changing, and it's really hard to standardize anything in that sense. But my career path, it's highly tied to Takt Planning. I did my master's thesis a couple of years ago about Takt Planning. I visited Germany, where I would say the world's best experts about this topic are. And they basically taught me how to use the method, and ever since I have been implementing the method to construction sites. From the pictures you can see the difference. So basically the different trades on construction site are condensing. We are using the space more efficiently. We have balanced all the work so that we have reduced the construction projects duration by 30%, and this is quite significant number. We have done it without increasing the resources. We have just planned the schedule and the system in a better way. And I think another important thing in that topic is that my colleagues on construction sites, so the managers and engineers, have told me that this is the first time they understand what's happening and what should be happening on the construction site. And this is a key finding, that if we want to reduce the lead times drastically, we have to make it so transparent and easy to operate that people can actually manage with all the information flows. For the last couple of years, we have developed this YIT flow concept. It's basically building automation on top of Takt Planning. And for this presentation, because Takt Planning is quite new topic, I will start by defining what's Takt Planning, and then we will move to the solution between production and design. So the core of Takt Planning is in work packages and work sequences. The work packages can be standardized. We have already done it. That means that it doesn't matter which product we are building. We can use the same definition for certain type of work. And this means that we can use data from different sites, different product types to all of our construction sites. Another thing is the construction sequences. They are basically sequences built from these work packages, and what we are trying to achieve with those is that for each project we can select some type of sequences and build the product up from those. And we try to be as good as standardizing 80% of the content of the sequences, and then we use the work packages in the library, or we delete some work packages from the standard sequence to get the actual end product. And what we found a couple of years ago is that every piece of information on construction site, they are using a bit different logic. So for budgeting, contracting, quality control, taking photos, designing, we are using a bit different structure for the project. And we decided that, okay, from now on, all the information that we use on construction site will be tied to these work packages. And this means that we can use all the deficits in all of our projects to learn in the next projects. So for example, if there is a safety hazard in one of our construction sites, we can change the safety regulations for that work package so that we can get rid of that problem from all of our projects. But about the flow concept shortly. So for the last years, I've been standardizing the production processes. We found out that finding key partners and win-win relationships is crucial for this system, so that we can actually learn together with our partners in construction sites. At that point, I defined all the tasks that we need to do for the work package. That means the construction task, logistics task, what designs we need. And after that, we started defining with the production control system when do we need the information. And that means standardizing when should we have the design ready for the operations on construction site. And this basically means when I select the sequences and the work packages, all of the tasks for the whole project are defined with just one click. And because we can use the history data for these work packages, we can basically say after choosing the sequences how much this should cost this project, what materials do we need, do we need some kind of deal with our partners that they reserve capacity for our project, which is coming in 2 years, so we can tell people more early what's going to happen. On the third step, because we defined what are we building, we defined when do we need some actions for that construction site, it's fairly easy after that to use the standard structure of our projects to automate all the data flows on construction project. This means that if I set something in schedule that we will do in 2 weeks, the designer will see in the BIM model what should I do on this week, what's the most important task. And by that we try to achieve a level where all the administrative work and the exchanging information between softwares and Excel will be taken rid of from construction site, and people can focus more on the daily activities and managing the quality and safety. Next step that we are touching the next year is how can we configure parts of design for these work packages so that it's easier to install on construction site. What are the parts that are working together as well as possible? And can we generate from the work packages some parts of the design even before the designer enters a project? And the last step is when we have all this cumulative data, we can use the system to give notices for the people around the project. Please do this task today so that the schedule won't be delayed. In the last 20 projects, if the weather condition was like this, there was a delay today. So a bit more in detail what we have done. We are now using the standard sequences work packages for the Takt plan on construction sites, and we are able to scale the running and operating the construction site with these sequences. Next step that we did was run logistics with the work packages, so that means that we manually defined what materials we need for this task, and we defined when do we need these materials. And from these two processes, we generated the dashboard so that people can see what's the most important task today and what should we do right now. Is there a risk that the schedule will be delayed in upcoming 2 weeks? So this means that people on construction site don't have to work with the data. They can just look at the screen and tell if everything is going according to the processes. We also have tried something more interesting, so automated payment per work package. That means that when somebody tells in the schedule that this work package is done, We know by the data what's the content, and we can automate the whole invoicing process. Means nobody is checking the invoice if the work package was done according to the contract. But the next step, we don't want to do any manual bill of materials, so we need some kind of interface between the production and the product. And the idea is that now that we have defined what the information we need from the designer, we can plan all the tasks from the designer, and perhaps in the future we can automate the bill of materials takeoff from the designer. And that means that we have a set of rules for the work package, and when BIM is generated, the system will automatically fetch the data from the model. So for this, we understood that there is some different sources for information. So we have the standard work packages and history of them. That means the should cost, should need materials. We have some kind of material libraries, which basically means that use this supplier for this work package. And then we have the design. And how we want to use this information from the material library and history data, we can define the schedule or the task plan of the project. We can say what should we need for each of these work packages, and we can say that, okay, this should cost this much euros this week. And then we need the actual materials, not just quantities, to the BIM model, so that means the designer should use as a source of information this kind of material library, so that we can actually connect all the data together. And this is an example what's the difference between the product and the production processes. So I have highlighted all the work packages that are connected to the slabs of the project. So when designing production processes, it's usually so that you have to split apart tasks, you have to do sequencing, you have to do rebalancing. So I think these are two different worlds. They have different area structures, and this is a key finding for us. So what we are doing for the solution, we are linking the work packages for all of the objects in BIM model. We are using that linking to plan all the designs that we need. But in the future, I hope that we can also communicate through this interface between those two worlds. So perhaps when we take a picture about an issue on construction site, it's marked to a work package that's done in this week. But then we can connect the work package to the actual place in the BIM software, so that the designer sees actually what's happening on construction site. And this is all automated because we know what the worker is doing in the schedule at the moment. We can also use the task schedule to define all the 4D stuff. So basically, what was installed today, what was delayed. We can import all the quality checks to the BIM model. And this means on the standard work package side, we basically define standard set of items that we need for the work package, and we use this coefficient for the work package, that how much in relation to the BIM we actually need the material. So this is one issue that we had to solve, that in the BIM there is usually parts, but in production and operations we might need something else than the building parts. This might be solved in the future when the BIMs get more detailed, but at the moment the situation is like this. And from the product data, we basically take all the product related stuff, and these are basically imported to the design from the material library. And this is just to show how the connection works. So basically we have the work package. I have pointed out that there is 4 of these slab elements in the BIM model, and I have these coefficients, how much material I need per object in BIM model. So basically taking bill of materials is automated. But we also found out that we can use the same data to calculate how much the tasks take. So we can use these two worlds to actually communicate if the schedule is done correctly, if we have to change something in the standard work packaging and sequencing. The next steps we are trying to achieve is standardize the whole design for Takt process. For this proof of concept, we used IFC. We know that it's not the end solution. We have to move to cloud solutions. But another thing is using digital contracts. That would mean that we can connect the work package, the BIM model, and the contracts together, so that we can see and track what is changing in the design, what is changing on construction site, what is changing with the contracts. But this is all. Thank you.